Hey, everybody. Welcome to 2023. It's been a little while. Jim and I are back to doing this full time, and we have a lot to tell you, a lot to talk about. Thanks for joining us. This was the first of the year that we are able to do this. So thanks for joining us. And for those that watch this in the future, thank you also for watching. Jim, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just waiting for the results of Rosemary's CT scan, and once that's behind me, I can breathe a little easier. Either way it goes.
Well, fingers crossed. I mean,
Yep.
it's one of those things where I don't know. There's always, of course, that she has such a positive mindset. Is she still screaming along positively?
Oh, absolutely. That's who she is.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with the answers.
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
And
and
and a
well,
lot, you know, a lot of the stuff that's going around, a lot of it is enhanced by having a doom and gloom attitude.
oh my gosh, it over and I've done whole shows on vibrational medicine or in herbal and natural homeopathic remedies, and there's so much science. It's not just a bunch of woo woo and mindset and the placebo effect. I mean, gosh, there's so many TED talks from actual academics that are like, look, the placebo effect is real and it scares the hell out of doctors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what happens when literally it looks like witchcraft and you actually get better just because of the mindset?
When I went in for my brain surgery, and it'll be 37 years come January 28th. It's the day Challenger blew up. I was at Mayo Clinic. And I was under anesthesia for 11 hours, and the brain surgery was 9.5. But as I'm laying on the gurney, Dr. Harner, who was the ENT doctor, Eversol was the neurosurgeon, came in to check my vitals, and my pulse was 52, my blood pressure was 105 over 65. And Dr. Harnell says, Jim says, you're not very nervous. I said, Doc, I'm at Mayo Clinic. If you can't fix me, no one can. And if you F up, I'll never know it. Give it your best shot. And he just started laughing. He said, going into this type of procedure, 40% of successful recovery is going in with a positive attitude.
Yeah, and I think the only because of your attitude, there's no way he would have shared that with another patient.
No.
There's too many people looking to doctors that the medicinal that whatever they're doing, it's like the holy practice of medicine, and that whatever they say is it, and that's just not the case in so many examples. It's mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I have, and I've had friends of mine I've known for 50 years, and they said they've never seen me down. I can get pissed real easy because that's my Sicilian blood, but
That's
I've
true.
I've never really been down.
Well,
I,
I don't even know if it's even pissed. I think there's a time where you'll get. I've certainly seen you get frustrated,
yeah,
and you're accurate. You're usually laser guided about it. It's immediate,
yeah,
but you let it go.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things I try not to not let it bother me.
You know what? But on that note, I think you should talk a little bit on. I know you've said the story before, but you've gotten some pretty incredible pictures of some pretty complex aircraft on bases where no one's supposed to be allowed simply by asking. And I think I don't know if we should even retell the story or if we should actually just skip to the part where what do you think gave you that driver to just not accept no?
I mean, I'm among other things besides being a writer and retired Air Force Master Sergeant and a bunch of other things. The selling job only starts when your client says no. And
That's interesting.
I've always, I mean, if they say yes, you're not selling anything. He's just agreeing with you. He or she's just
Yeah.
agreeing with you. But when they say no, that's when the sales job starts. And don't be afraid of asking a question. Now, I was with June 3rd, 2021. I had a book signing at the Lockheed Skunk Works. My 75 years of the Lockheed Skunk Works book was being distributed among senior staff there. And I'm heading over with in a limousine, a backseat of a limousine with Jeff Babion, who was the vice president general manager of the Skunk Works. And we're about halfway over to Site 2, and I look him straight in the eye and I said, Jeff, how much alien technology is utilized in Skunk Works products today? And he didn't jump back and say, oh, that's a hell of a question to ask. He said, I have no knowledge of any alien technology being utilized in any of our programs. But then he did say, but I don't know what may have been developed in the past that I don't have a need to know. So it said, Lockheed, first of all, won't comment. There's no comment at all on UFOs, UAPs, or whatever. So he said, I firmly believe that we're not alone, but this Lockheed policy is no comment. So I was surprised. I was surprised by his lack of being stunned when I asked him the question, or maybe he knew that I'm the type of guy who likes to ask questions that are hard to answer.
Well, there's the interesting thing too. I think it's almost a yes. I mean, not that I'm trying to read it into his answer, but that's the answer. It's I have no knowledge, right? Isn't
Right.
that the?
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's basically I have no knowledge.
Well, it's when I was interviewing Harry Foster and Tony Minetti. They're two B-2 that flew in Operation Allied Force. They had 2 trips to Kosovo. Harry went out on the 2nd night. Tony went out on the 5th night. And as I was interviewing him, I said, I got a question. Did we bomb, in other words, the B-2, did we bomb the Chinese embassy in Belgrade? And both of them started laughing and turned their back on me. And they came around with a smirk on their face and they said, no comment. So I have to believe they dropped a 2,000-pound bomb through a window on the 2nd or 3rd floor in the most unoccupied part of the embassy, just to give them a wake-up call, saying, hey, we can do this. We don't have to tell you we're coming, and we can drop a 2,000 or a 30,000-pound Moab, mother of all bombs. We can drop it in, into your garage, through your chimney in your fireplace. You're not safe. I don't care how deep go. If they used the 5,000-pound bunker buster they use in Desert Storm, they had an accelerometer in there, and it would count the number of floors. And if you wanted to blow up on the 5th floor, anytime it hit resistance, it would count. And then when it got down to the floor you want to blow up, that's when it blew up.
I mean, the precision, which makes you wonder, how is it that they, for all the technology we have there, it's like, do you guys really not know what's going on around the world? So
that's over 40 years old. That technology is over 40 years old.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Looks like we got a lot of people joining in. John P. Adventures,
yeah.
Unidentified S4. We got thanks for subbing. Cosmic Neighbors, hello.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Happy New Year. If you haven't already heard us
Identified
say it.
S4. That's Anthony. And of course, we have Ron. Great guys. I really do. I really do enjoy everybody in this neighborhood, if you want to call it that. It's just fun.
Yeah, somebody's already brought up Belize, and I know we haven't chatted about it too much. Well, we haven't talked about it this year, but yeah, for those of you who don't know, we are planning an expedition, and we are going to be, you've seen my documentary TerraCore. If you haven't, it's on YouTube. TerraCore, and it essentially is a short overview of ultimately the kind of things I'm researching as far as looking for ancient advanced past. But part of that comes from finding sites with great owners that will give us access. And, we're looking at a site where there could be some pyramids. There could be some engineered soil like Terra Preta, which looks very highly likely. There's a lot of mysterious energy signals that the landowners themselves have experienced, and there's a group of us, Jim and I, and we are going down to Belize, and we'll be filming and doing it, and definitely bringing you guys updates on it. And there's a couple ways. Of course, everyone's wondering, how could you support us? One, Not Aliens does have a member area, and if all you did was buy yourself and all your imaginary friends memberships, they're $7 a month, or like about 30 something for a year. And Jim, you just had a new book come out, and you should tell people about that one.
Well, which one? I've had two new books. One's still in at my
Oh
publishers, and
yeah.
one came out. But the
No,
one that's
no,
here,
just tell
the big
the one
one,
that they can buy.
the big one. Okay,
Yeah.
I did a book. It's called 75 Years of the Lockheed Skunk Works. It is 384 pages. It's about just one photo shy of 1,300. I cover 43 programs, of which there's probably 43 I don't know about. But I cover everything you ever heard about from the Skunk Works, and some stuff you haven't heard about. Jeff Babion said that book and my SR-70 book from Sheffer Publishing are his two. No, those are his two books that no one's allowed to touch. They're in his man cave. Sherm Mullen, a former president of Skunk Works, said that Lockheed should hire me to do all their histories because he absolutely loved the book. Same with Jack Gordon. And of the 11 Skunk Works bosses, I have met all but 4 of them, and it
Well,
includes Kelly Johnson, Ben Rich, and down the line. So
and the wonderful thing about, if any of you out there have not gotten any of Jim's books, they're very beautiful. I mean, they're so well laid out. I can say this, not that Jim went, because he has a very I don't know. Yeah, you're not very gregarious or remotely say what you think, but
yeah,
the books are really cool. They are even if you didn't want to read it, you should put it on a coffee table just to look cool or smart or mysterious. You could do all the above.
yeah. Well, I gave one to my orthopedic surgeon. I mean, you'd think he was 10 years old, and I just gave him a key to the candy store. He was beyond thrilled.
Oh,
Start,
my brother loves the one that you got him. And honestly, for everyone wondering, because everyone's talking about when is my new book coming out, I thought I could make Christmas and I didn't. But the funny thing is, I can do this now on air. I'm blaming you, Jim, for why I'm not out, because partially I'm like, why don't I have a hardcover? And I'm like, I want a hardcover. So that's what's happening. It's in color. There'll be a hardcover and a soft paperback, but I'm hoping all that can be out. That will be okay. So if everyone's wondering, prior to Belize, I'm hoping this month. Why not start a new year with a new read? And I'm hoping to have it available on Amazon and on my website, signable by the end of the month. But there's a meeting about it tomorrow and Monday, and I'm on my way. So, but I'm late, and it's Jim's fault for having pretty books. That's it.
what can I say? Oh, I did get an email from Osprey. They have my 29th book. It is on submarines, and it's going to be titled Nautilus to Columbia Class, United States Navy Fleet of Nuclear Powered Submarines, and I cover over 220 individual subs that are nuclear powered that have been built or are being built for the United States Navy. And
I think that's going to be really cool.
it was just, there isn't anything, I've written more about submarines than every other, I mean, as far as being able to see what's inside and whatever, more than anybody. I showed my layout to a Navy captain at Point Loma here, it had to be 10 years ago. And he's going through it, and this wasn't even my super duper one. And he said, my God, said every officer in the United States Navy that has anything to do with subs should have this book.
Well, there's an audience.
Yeah. So once my Nautilus to Columbia class comes out, I'm going to be sending one to the Chief of Naval Operations, Secretary of the Navy, Secretary of Defense, Underwater Warfare, what's the other one? There's a number of them that are related to surface shift, and then of course in the underwater. But I'm gonna submit all of that, and hopefully I'll get some good responses. Plus all the chief's boat, all the cobs on the submarines that I've been on, and I've been on 20 different nuclear powered submarines. Excuse me, 18, because two of them were diesel electric. And it just tickles the heck out of me. And I've requested from the Navy, but I have to wait until I finish my arsenal boat, my Ohio class ballistic missile submarine arsenal boat coverage. That's all I need for my 28th book to be finished. And but I've requested that the next Virginia class submarine leaving refit at Bremerton, going back to Pearl Harbor, that I be on board. Because what they'll go to test depth, which is like 1,200 feet. They'll do at least one emergency blow, usually more than one. And they said the fun seat is up in the torpedo room. So that's gonna be my next thing. And then I figured out my 30th book, and it could be interviews at Mach 3.
Oh,
And I already have all that covered because I've already done everybody I interviewed are dead now. So I'm going to be using those interviews, and it's
oh, you know what?
What?
You could get a hold of Michael at Dark Hour Paranormal, and you could do the post dead interviews too.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, yeah,
No response. No response. No response.
yeah,
I don't know. The 30th book though. Would you actually? I mean, we haven't ever talked about it. Are you really seriously thinking about putting that one out?
yeah, yeah. I mean,
All right.
I talked with Steve Justice about it because he's done a number of interviews when he was the number 3 guy at the Skunk Works, and I knew him before he went to work there, and he's just a very, very dear friend. But he said that would be great, and if I can put his name on it with my behind my name, I think it would be super. Or I can just do it myself with additional information provided by Steve.
Jim, are you going to get in trouble again like you did with some of the books you put out? I mean, is there anyone who's going to be at you for too much information on the subs?
Well, I didn't sign anything I wouldn't divulge anything that I get, anything that in an interview or in my searches or whatever that is a gee whiz or where in the hell did you get that? I'm going to share it. And the thing about my basic dealings with this industry, which is things that go bump in the night, things you're not supposed to know. I don't keep anything I get up here. If someone tells me something, I'm going to make sure I share that information with you, with Michael Schratt, or with any of my aviation friends, because if I don't wake up tomorrow morning, all that information's gone.
Right. Which I think, I've heard that, well, to some of our friends' points, it doesn't seem to be what you know. It seems to be how much you can prove anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So therein lies some of the issues. So yeah, we're going to end up going to Belize, and we're going to end up looking for things that are still all very hypothetical. So for the most part, I think we're safe, except for the bullet ants, the pit vipers, the brown recluse spiders, and the black widows.
Yeah.
Other than that, we're totally fine.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't care much for creepy crawlers, but
Hey, you know what? The roads, so there's a lot of planning going into our trip to Belize. Part of it is there are bushwhackers that will be clearing. This is definitely real jungle, but we have no plans to do a Colonel Percy Fawcett Lost City of Z Part 2. Jim and Jared are lost in the jungle. That's sounds like a Jack and Jill story horror version.
yeah.
Not we're not doing that.
And
We'll be safe.
I've been to every country in Central America except for Belize.
What? Really?
Yeah, I did embassy resupply with the Air Guard back in the early '80s, and we operated out of Panama. So
Well, there are a couple people coming that have the same. Actually, there's a bucket list. There's four people coming that, and I know I've sort of mentioned it for you guys listening. Some of the people coming are pretty wonderful, and I'm sure it looks like Dennis Stone of America's Stonehenge. I don't think will mind the publicity, but I do think Dennis is coming also, and former airline pilot. The man flew for over 30 years, and he's hit a lot of places, but Belize is one of the places he hasn't hit either.
Uh-huh.
And so I think between all of us and I made some progress today. I haven't, and for those, this is kind of real time strategy for everyone. Post you and I talking earlier today when we were talking this morning, I did end up talking with some of the people that are going to do the LiDAR work. And they are really excited to do it.
Ooh,
So for anyone listening, we are looking for lining up.
sponsors,
Yeah,
sponsors.
yeah, and we are also planning on lidaring. There's 7,000 acres that are in heavily centralized Mayan metropolis zone. There's at least one very unusual hill that's almost 1,000 feet tall. It is not a mountain. It is not a natural feature. It is likely a covered pyramid. There's two or three, and it's very likely that where we are, there's a lot of structures that it would be quite great if we have a sponsor out there that wanted to either participate financially or come with both. We're open to that, so feel free to reach out to me. My contact, my email is on notaliens.com, which I believe it's not aliens, it's us at Gmail. But you can find that on the contact page on notaliens.com. But of course, Jim, you got an email too, but I'll funnel that one this way if you. But if you get anybody, let me know.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm gonna try to send a. I don't want to join Twitter, but I'm gonna try to
Oh
find a
no.
way to get an email or a text to Elon.
Well, that would be fun. Um, you think you'd want to? You think you'd want to participate?
No, because it's not enough like Mars.
No.
But he may he who knows? I mean, he's enough of an adventurer that it could be something that he's really interested in.
Well, from a Mars and a colonization standpoint, Terra Preta, that engineered soil, I don't think it was just accidental that it's all over the earth here. I think not only was it intentional based on a larger human population, I think it was very intentional to terraforming the planet. I mean, there's a good possibility that the unknown and unexplored elements within this soil system that I think these dynastic Mayans and Egyptians and Greeks fell on, I think that the soil alone is worth a study just from the standpoint that it didn't just filter heavy metals and carbon dioxide and is the richest growing soil on earth, but it seems to have electromagnetic properties. So I do think the reverse engineering, just from that respect, is something that we would want to consciously bring to a planet that needs to be re-terraformed.
Yeah.
So if I haven't, that's not exactly a 30-second elevator pitch, but I think that's a contributor.
Well, and the other thing is the major historical sites such as Machu Picchu and the rest of the world knows about. They're all controlled by universities, and the universities have them close to their chest, and they don't want it's my
Yeah.
ball. I'm not going to let you play with it.
Yeah.
We're not going to have any restrictions when it comes to testing elements and whatever. And like I mentioned
No.
when we were first talking about it, when we initially were talking about Peru, but now there's a political coup, and people are getting shot. It could, we could find what could be considered the Rosetta Stone when it comes to alien technology.
Yeah, or ancient human. Either way, it's
Yeah,
technology that is been overlooked in the very structure, the foundation of ancient megalithic constructions. And this is a site, like I think many Mayan sites that they built. They definitely in 3,000 years had a lot of people, a lot of trade, a giant empire. They grew something really big on their own, but at the same time, they did build much of what they did, like the Incas and the Greeks and the Egyptians and other cultures. They built on a prior lost, more advanced civilization that brought and created or built the Terra Preta and the megalithic constructions that built the Nazca lines, and not the monkeys and the shapes, but the straight lines that go on for kilometers without turning left or right. There's definitely a good chance that this site will also be in perpetuity because it's privately owned. It's going to be accessible and usable, and for research that I just think it's. I'm hoping there's a paradigm shift with those universities where instead of
Yeah,
being
yeah.
they're so in a corner on what they remember and what they know, they're not willing to look at something new because it contradicts what they know versus embracing actually, hey, we're the university that came up with 20,000 new questions. I
Hmm.
think that's where we're at. Is it's we should be embracing the institutions, not only willing to point out, oh, hey, we got that wrong, or we didn't have it right the first time, and we don't have it right, but we've developed new questions, and our questions keep getting better. I think that's a better way to maybe approach the past if we want to really accelerate our understanding and knowledge. And it's a way to not condemn them for being weak-minded, hubristic, small-thinking Victorian idiots. I
Yeah.
don't know,
And
but
the other thing that's really important about these sites in Belize, they haven't been plundered that we know of.
no, one of the crystal skulls was found within 10 miles, and they found crystal jaguars. And oh, hello, off-world Adam. Uh, uh, well, we definitely are going to an area that was over. Well, it's not just overlooked. It's like the Guatemalan lidar scans. They find 60,000 buildings, hundreds of pyramids, and they're like, oop, you know, well, maybe there's more to the South and Central American complex, and that's
And where
not
did
very
they all
far,
go? Where did they all go? Was it was it
right?
was it Cortez brought in smallpox and common cold and the flu and syphilis, and that's what killed them off?
I think that there is that great everything that happened when once the conquistadors and everybody showed up and they took over. It's pretty miserable. The questions for me are, why is it that during the Roman periods, you have the Bay of Anforajars in Brazil,
Hmm.
and again, you have the Portuguese shutting down research because they don't want to show that they weren't the first to Brazil, that it's actually it was not a lost Roman vessel, but an open trade route, and there is clear indications from even on the other side on Easter Island, where you have documentation from the beginning that there are redheaded people here, there are blue-eyed people. There was already trade routes that were open in ways that we don't understand, and I don't. I think that this area, having the pyramids that have been found or that were more obvious, it would be easy to overlook a highly vegetated area that just had everything abandoned. And this is one of those areas where it's directly off the coast of what would be a very busy area. And it's at one of the squeeze points where, if you're looking for a way to go from the Atlantic to the Pacific or back and forth, this area in Belize is not. Not a bad spot, and there are so many pyramids to the left and north and south and on the islands, off from where exactly this point is, along with a known Mayan quarry. Yeah, I'm without a doubt excited that there's stuff there, and the significance of any of it being pre-dynastic, of being megalithic and going for that Rosetta Stone. I mean, the possibilities are absolutely endless, and it's yeah, we're the ones that get to be there. So hey,
And
it's
and
exciting.
maybe if if good luck shines down on us, we'll find something that will make headlines.
That would be fun. I can see us there with yeah, okay. I forgot we're on the wrong channel. I can't say everything I think I can see us there with, and you know
Yeah,
coconut bikinis and couple.
yeah.
I'm trying to picture a Gilligan's Island episode now, but that's dating us both, so I better stop. Um, the uh, the lidar work. I'm hoping that with everything that we're filming, we're going to be able to bring it to everyone in a documentary and make it accessible for everyone. And then in the future, as we move forward, like I said, we do need sponsors for the trip. We're going either way, but there's some heavy equipment costs, but next year we're going to continue to do research, and so we are kind of considering some of you out there that may want to come or participate. That is an option. So just to get your guys's armchair curiosities up. And for those of you who listen and are already in the field, if you want to change the scenery, you could still reach out to either of us about maybe coming. So there's
Scarlett.
that.
My doggy is here. Just a second.
Oh, that's great. So,
I'm gonna turn the background off for a second.
all right, Scarlett. I know, right?
Come here,
I'm
Scarlett.
off-world Adam. I'm totally outing myself. So there is Scarlett.
There's my baby. She's our rescue dog. What you want? You want a treat? See? One sec. I'll be right back.
All right. So Scarlett's a pretty amazing animal. I've stayed with Jim a few times, and Scarlett is a German Shepherd mix that literally lived on the streets. And they picked that dog up as a puppy. It was supposed to go to a kill shelter, and everyone who was involved with that animal from the minute it was found on the street said this animal's too adorable. So fortunately, I ended up with Jim and Rosemary. So for those of you who have never met Scarlett, that was Scarlett. So yeah, and for Off-World Adam, I used to have basically a dog that looked like Scooby Doo. It was a Mastiff Lab Bloodhound mix. It had a dry mouth, and that Mastiff Lab Bloodhound mix was 140 pounds, and I had a white German Shepherd that was 90 pounds. And so I had a lot of dog and I gave him the background, Jim, on Scarlett being a rescue, and you guys, her almost going to a kill shelter. I covered the whole thing while you were gone.
She doesn't. What's unique about she's almost like a cat. I tell Rosemary that I think she's really a cat. She looks like a German Shepherd, but I think she's really a cat because she doesn't respond to anything except for treatsies, and then she go, and that makes her happy. That's the only word that she has an instant response from.
Well, you've gotten good responses for the dogs. Pen Greedy, had a Mastiff that was 195 pounds. Yeah, mine only I think was 140 because she was a mix. I was lucky she could curl up in the tiniest. I love how the big dogs think they're lap dogs.
Yeah, I had a 130-pound male Shepherd named Charlie Brown, and he could do everything but knit.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen pictures. He was really cute.
Yeah. He was beautiful. So was Bear.
I can't do the whole dying dog thing anymore. They're too much like family, and
they are family, and they're not too much like they are. I mean, Rosemary has never loved a dog. He said, you can like a dog, but you can't love a dog. She's you've seen her. She's on the floor. She's talking to her, petting her, and we don't go places because the dog will be all by itself. I said, babe, she's a feral street dog for the first 14 months of her life. So she's used to being alone. That's why she likes company so much. So
yeah, she's not, I don't think she's ever going to, if that dog can't come, then you guys aren't going anywhere, which is why I'm glad to have a yard now and a fence.
Yeah, well, we're going to our first road trip with Scarlett will be to Fallbrook. I got a buddy of mine who's a retired yacht captain and one of the craziest guys I know. 2 tours in Vietnam as a corpsman for the Marine Corps, and he's just. And I got to talk to you later on, not on the show, but later on, next day or so. He has a book he needs a publisher. My publishers don't do anything like what he's written. But it's an autobiography, and this guy's funny, and he's done some crazy stuff.
That's so interesting. 2 tours in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We should talk about that one offline for sure.
Yeah. But he asked me today. He called me this morning and said, "I want to get my book published." He did a couple one-offs. I told him I would ask around, and of course, the publisher you're using, or whoever it is, could be a good candidate.
Yeah. The books based on what we got coming out now, it looking like a busy year because we have apparent well, looks like you have 30th book that might come out before your 29th barely has a chance to hit a shelf.
Yeah.
And then the documentaries, I think what's really exciting about this Belize trip is that it's going to be about a 2 week research trip that we're going on. I I didn't even ask, as far as who's all coming and how long. It doesn't mean that everyone's going for 2 weeks, but the amount of research being done, including some underwater work, it's going to take a couple weeks to do it, and then we're going to film it. But there is, just for you guys, if you're wondering, there's something that Jim and I filmed on and still in production, and that's something to do with some of government secret programs and MK Ultra. And it's just us speaking. Well, there's a number of interviews, scientists, people that have participated. So there is an ongoing production that's been going on for a few months. But so there is something else that's been getting worked on. There's another documentary that I'm working on, a follow up to TerraCore. So this year, there's a lot of things happening, and Belize is not going to be the only thing. There was filming done midsummer for the Galt Archaeological Site, the Upton Chamber, and some of the survivor cultures, the primitive Neolithics that were living around America's Stonehenge. There's a documentary being worked on for that. So there are a few projects that hopefully in the production phase now will end up for you guys to consume and watch and see this year.
Hmm.
That is part of the new year. And besides, I guess, is there any other shows, or are you doing anything, Jim? Is there any other filming you're up to that we need to sneak in here?
Uh, Not Europe. Uh,
Well,
I'm
are you doing any, yeah, are you doing any traveling, or is there anything else coming up for, I mean,
I have
you're in those documentaries on Amazon right now.
I'm in about 10 or 15 of them. I mean, I've lost track. Um, I have. I mean, and I there's stuff that I interviewed back in 2019 that hasn't been hasn't been shown yet. But it is what it is. I mean, I have nothing else to do, but I have a lot of time. I'm retired. My book projects keep me busy in front of the computer, but I love going out in the field. I really do.
Oh, well, and I think we've come up with a good compromise for where we're going, but at the same time, you're right. Some of your emails are very well curated. You definitely send some good emails. I can tell everyone that.
We need
There's
we need to get hold of, and I'm not maybe ask the brothers. We need to get hold of someone at the Discovery Channel or one of
Yeah.
those, or maybe Netflix or Prime,
Oh, yeah.
and see if there's if they're always looking for new content, new interesting, exciting subjects. The megalithic structures, ancient aliens would be a you know pretty much should open the door of, at least have initial interest.
Yeah, there is. I think that the elements that we're bringing to it, I hope we have some luck with the underwater stuff. I hope that the LiDAR work and the droning reveal a lot more complexity to what we're dealing with. I mean, we're dealing with many square miles of property.
Yeah, we have to
That's
narrow it
that's
down to a relatively small area.
Yeah, and obviously, no one's going to complain if the pitch is, "Hey, well, season one, we only find two pyramids."
Yeah,
Um, we are perfectly capable of finding. I mean, there's definitely pottery. There's been pustules. There's been arrowheads, spearheads found just in the ground from digging fire
hey,
pits.
golden idol.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not up for the tarantulas on the back, but I would love to find the golden monkey.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm all for it.
yeah,
Um,
or one made of diamonds. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna break the mold though. I just don't want to do it in the straw Indiana Jones hat, but we need something. But then I'm like, what should I wear?
A pith
You know,
helmet. Yeah. Like
do we
George
wear
of
a
the
helmet?
Jungle. Yeah.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like if we're not wearing the Indiana Jones hats or this, I mean, is it all sombreros? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just I mean, it's supposed to be heavily canopied. I would really like to not run into too much. I mean, from where we're going to be, um, too much sun.
Yeah.
I'm not up for burning into a sizzle, but I guess we will be out there, folks. And one of the things we're going to do, and this is something that obviously we're a couple months out, just a few months, but we will post because of our. We're going to be doing some. I'm hoping Starlink. I'm hoping that Elon Musk Starlink, although it says pending for Brazil or Belize, it's apparently something that is always updating and changing. So there's a good chance that we might have Starlink. Otherwise, there's some local services. Although we're going to be in fairly some remote locations,
Yeah.
we'll do our best to give you guys some updates in real time. Won't reveal anything that we wouldn't want to put out for you to be entertained and interested in a documentary, but I do think there'll be a chance for us to update you live in reality. So if you guys do want to, again, reach out to us on any of it, there is definitely going to be opportunities to again be part of the sponsorship or um, all hands on deck. If you know how to operate a shovel, huh? There's a there we go.
Yeah. I was in the Air Force. They said, in basic, said, see that hole over there? Said, I want to move it over here. So you do that. And then you said, no, 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 I want it over here instead. That was, we
Yep.
call that BMT. It was referred to as basic military training or badly misused time. And
There's a boy. There's half of the internet.
yeah,
Um, but it's so fun though, isn't it? I mean, all the times. I mean, I think you and I have gotten to meet some amazing people over or just, I mean, even in the last few years, and to get out and actually see something that's new with all the brilliant people's inputs and everyone out there listening and contributing to the shows. There are so many interesting thought patterns on what our ancient history or what our ancient world was about and how does it tie into aliens or advanced technology and
uh-huh.
where we are now. And I think when we get out in the field like this, it's that opportunity to like let those opinions and the realities kind of dovetail back to some new idea.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
No, I'm all excited about it. I mean, when I was young, I wanted to be a history teacher, high school history teacher, and then I realized I would have students like me, and I would end up in prison, probably on death row. So instead, I became a military historian. I did that for 16 years with the Minnesota Air Guard, and that sort of it fit right into what I do back over here. These are my books. That's just some of the 29 titles. The one in the center, right here,
yeah.
that's the newest one. That's
Okay.
384 pages. And the presidents of the Skunk Works, 6 of the presidents of Skunk Works, said this is an incredible book. So if you go to Amazon, you go in books by James, middle initial C, Goodall, and all those hardbounds will show up. Plus, all my softbounds will be in there also. But I also go under Jim Goodall as well. So if if you and I don't work for Amazon nor Prime, but if you're a Prime member, the shipping is free. The Skunk Work book weighs 5.5 pounds.
Yes, your books are also, besides beautiful, they are capable weapons and
Yeah.
defensive items and shields. If you'd like
Yes.
to, you want an extra couple minutes on a fire door, just put his book against it.
Yeah.
They are significant pieces of. I mean, they're like watching like a Gothic revival pull out the giant manuscript and pound it down on the reading table. It's those things are not light.
The general manager of Tupolev has my B2 book on his desk. I got a buddy of mine who's a
Wow.
PR guy there at Tupolev, and I sent it to him, and he in turn hand delivered it to the president, and he said he has it
I,
on his desk.
Jim, now that I'm in Utah, what do you think of the Air Museum here?
Oh, I love
And
it.
so,
I love it. Now, the blackbird that's in there is they call it, the real name is the bastard, because it is the back half of the first YF-12 interceptor and the front half of a functional engineering airframe mock-up that they had for just functional fit. And when they crashed 957, which was lost due to total electrical failure in both engines. And when they dropped the gear to come in for a landing at Beale, the sump emptied out, it flamed out, and both guys had to eject. And they both ejected successfully.
so that
So
one's here at the Air Museum.
yeah. And I was there when they were taking it apart. And
Oh,
I had gone in there. There was a couple old guys there. One's a sergeant major. His first name is Kay. I can't remember his last name. Just a nice guy, but just four or five, really really nice white-haired guys. And I wandered in there. I said, I helped take that one apart. Yeah, sure. I said, well, I'm pretty much an expert on the SR-71. Yeah, sure. So I went to my car with the book, got my book, and said, here, this is what I do. And I opened it up and went, ah. So I sold 3 books. I only had 3 books with me. And I sold them, all 3 of them. So
let me bring in my wares. Let me
yeah,
show you my skills.
yeah. I mean, I remember when we had the Blackbird in Minneapolis. A guy was in there he was holding a book, and he's there with his son, and he's pointing out everything on the A12. Mine was an A12 Blackbird. And I said, "Well, can I help you?" I said, "Oh no, no." I said, I have everything I need right here. This is the expert's book." And I said, "It's written by James Goodall, right?" He said, "Yeah, I'm James Goodall." So,
That went over good. Did you sign it?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Anybody said, "Well, I didn't buy it from you." He said, "I don't care. You want me to sign it? I'll sign it." I said, "I'm not in it for the money. I've lost more to ex-wives than I'll ever recover, and I'm doing just fine." So
Hey,
if
remember we're on YouTube.
that's why I
Um,
haven't used any profanity. I'm pretty good
yeah,
at it though.
yeah,
Yeah.
you are. Yeah, for everyone listening, I do have a Rockfin channel for Not Aliens, and that is something that we are considering. Is I keep trying to get us over there, so to be on the platform now, so that you guys can catch us right away. Rockfin does have a free version; you don't have to pay for it. And these interviews, for us to have more of a freer go at things with everyone, it will be in the free section. So you don't have to give them a credit card. You don't have to do anything. Doesn't help Not Aliens, other than we'll try to set ourselves up so that we can. Jim and I have very. I would say we're easily at a 4 to where our opinions could be at a 10.
Yeah. Some of
We,
my
we
some of my opinions are an 11, but that's all right.
well, there's we could have them rated based on colorful, tone, drawl, and adjectives. Yeah,
Oh,
there's a we could create more of a what's this? There's a SR-71 on the side of the highway a few miles up the road from me, just off the Tinker AFB.
uh-huh.
It's a distraction while driving for sure. What is that? Where is that, Jim? Do you know?
No, I mean there's no SR-71 anywhere near Tinker Air Force Base.
Oh,
I
do you
know
think they have a model?
it may be, and I mean, I started looking at it. I says, I'm trying to think I said, I know where Tinker is. That's, Oklahoma City. And I'm trying to think where the closest Blackbird, would be in San Antonio, or in halfway between Omaha and Lincoln off of
Oh,
Interstate 80.
Zach's pretty. Zach says it's a retired one.
Well, I know where they're all at, and that one just isn't. Oh, there's one in Hutchinson, Kansas. That's 96. I think
So
that's 968, I believe.
So now that means that, okay, so Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
No, like I say, I am. It's got to be a mock-up of something because it's not a real airframe. Because I can account for all 30 airframes.
SR-71 Blackbird location map. Did you know there was such a thing?
Oh yeah,
Um,
I think some of them still have Minneapolis as having an A-12, but there's nothing in Oklahoma that I'm aware of.
what are the chances they moved one?
Slim. If you look the list, there shouldn't be anything in Oklahoma.
I'm just curious.
There's one in Kansas.
Oklahoma. Everybody look for it.
Yeah,
We're doing
and
real time.
and if you get a picture, if you have a picture of it, I'd love to see it.
Well, okay, so I'm looking at the sr71.org Blackbird location PHP. Oklahoma's not listed. Um, Alabama, Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Kansas, Louisville, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska. Wait, Minnesota doesn't have one anymore, do they?
No, and 956, the trainer went to Michigan.
Yeah, Oklahoma's not listed in this list on the sr71.org list. So I'm going back to our screen so I can see everybody. Um, so Zach, not only are you distracted by looking at this thing, you're now going to have to go and confirm for us.
Photograph it.
Yeah, photograph it, and he's saying it might be a model, but what's the only thing? Wait, what's the one that you showed me that looks pretty close to a blackbird? There is one that's sort of similar.
No,
I mean,
no,
I'm not saying. I'm not
there
sure
isn't-
Zach was 6 beers in when he saw it, but there really isn't anything, is there?
No.
No. Well, then
Now they,
Oklahoma's
they used
Oklahoma's cheating the system.
yeah, they used to have a B-52 at the fairgrounds there in Oklahoma City as you come down I-35, go right by it, and they had a bunch of other airplanes there as well. But
Yeah,
it can't be a U-2 because I know where all those are as well. So I don't know. I'm going to be on a road trip sometime this summer, and I'm going to go through Oklahoma City. And if Zach could give us really where it's at, as far as an intersection, if it's on Interstate 70 or off Interstate 35, what is the closest cross street? And I'll go look it up in Google Earth and see if I can find where the where the exhibit is.
yeah.
Matter of fact, I'll do that when I get off of this. And oh, by the way, it is 8:15.
Oh yeah. Hey, folks. We had limited broadcast time. Well, this is a point of a live show. We're here to interact with you guys, and the reality is that was a worthy digression. I am now just as distracted, Zach. So it's your job now to stop at that museum and find out if it's real and where it came from, because the one that Jim worked on, the Minnesota one's gone, and maybe somebody, maybe they moved one. That is totally possible.
I would know about it.
Right. So if it's at the Oklahoma Air Museum, which is, I think, that's what he's saying, right? Is Tinker the Air Museum?
No, Tinker's the Air Force Base, and it's also one of 2 overhaul facilities that are left.
Could they have been working on a real one?
No. All the depot work on the Blackbirds are done at Palmdale Site 2.
Okay, so that means he's on the website right now, and it's there. It's there. All right. So what's the website, Zach? And okay. So we have to wrap this up in 4 minutes.
Uh-huh.
But we are doing this now. Let's all be late because Oklahoma Museum. What's it called, Jim? SR-71. I can pull it up on the Oklahoma Museum. The Museum of Flight. What the heck is the Oklahoma Flight Museum called?
SR71.freaking.org.
That's the Oklahoma site. The Museum of Flight. I love what has happened to websites. They don't say whose museum it is. It doesn't say the location. It doesn't, for crimey sakes. So plan your tickets, hours of operation. That's Seattle, Washington. Thanks, guys, for nothing. That's not where I want to be. Oklahoma Museum Flight. I'm not looking at the talk screens of, let me go back. Did anyone give me another suggestion? SR71 freaking.org. Yeah, you know. LOL freaking world. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Stafford. Nope. Oklahoma Museum of Flight. Stafford Air Force Space Museum. Tulsa. Nope. Let's go. Oklahoma Museum of Flight. All right. I'm going.
Yeah.
Facebook even. God darn it. I hate going on Facebook. That's me live, real time. I said it. I'm not saying it's not useful. How do they have a picture of anything other than a blackbird to start? I mean, you're not helping me. It's on the website. Plan a visit, events, exhibits. Come on, say blackbird.
Okay.
Anyone else who finds it, you get street cred. A lot of pretty pictures. Okay, that wasn't helpful. Okay, so I'm apparently not capable of finding it. SR71 freaking org. I don't know. That doesn't help me. Oh well. So Jim, you didn't find it, did you?
No.
Yeah.
I have Tinker Air Force Base up. It's the AWACS call home.
Oklahoma Museum of Flight. Stafford is there, right? Stafford is in Oklahoma.
That I don't know.
I don't know either.
Oh, okay, there's this isn't close, but they do have a small exhibit where they have a B1, a case, an EC-135 and a Boeing B-52. It looks like a G model, and a C-130.
It doesn't.
I'll go through and look through this when we go off air.
All right. Well, now we have something for next week. Want to thank everyone for joining us. Head over to naughtylanes.com and we'll tell you more about the Belize stuff. Like I said, if you were interested in sponsoring that, we'll get more official about that. Jim and I have some other routes we're going down to, but this was our start of the year 2023. Welcome back. Hello, everyone. Yeah. And Jim, your newest book available?
It's Skunkworks book. You get it on Amazon. 5.5 pounds is what it weighs, and if you get that, you may want to go 2 for 1 and get this one as well. They sort of go hand in hand. And if you're into submarines, the two best books on the planet on Los Angeles class, Seawolf class, and Virginia class are my two books, and they're both hardbound, all 100% color. The volume 1 is Los Angeles class and Know Your Adversary. So I cover the Russians, the Chinese, the North Koreans, the Iranian subs. And then volume 2 is on the Seawolf Virginia class. It took me 7.5 years to get on the Seawolf class, and they only have 3 of them, and only 2 are accessible. The other one's a Jimmy Carter. That's a spook boat. But the front half's the same. The back half is the stuff you can't see. So, but those are the ones behind me.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of them. And considering that I hated term papers. I hated writing.
I know.
Yeah.
And then anything you need to learn, you generally have to do it on your own.
Yep. Yep. So
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining, everyone. We will see you guys next week, and this is going to be a fun and exciting year, and hope you
yeah, it
guys can
is
be
all the way
around for it.
around. All the way around. You take
All
care
right.
and stay warm. Give my best to Michaela, and I will chat
I,
with I'll chat you with a little bit either later on tonight or tomorrow.
yeah, I will. We are going to get out of this, and I'll give me about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, sounds good. Adios.
All right. Adios. Hasta luego,
Thank
everyone.
everybody. Yeah.
Cheers.